What was the highest waste of money that you don't regret? My first paycheck I bought a 900 wedding cake. Me and my brother had no way to get it home since it didn't fit on our skateboards. We just had a cake fight in the parking lot. My brother passed away shortly after that. I still think about that day whenever I'm sad. Edit. For everyone asking, I worked as a window cleaner. I'd rappel down the side of 30-story buildings. That memory alone is worth more than 900. Till death do us part. For some reason, this brought tears to my eyes. Maybe because I'm pretty close to losing my brother. Thank you for sharing this comment. What an awesome memory. I'm so sorry. Please know the love you have for your brother and his love for you holds stories precious and priceless to this world. I'm happy he has a brother like you that loves him. Please stay strong, my friend. Yeah, I definitely choked up on this one. My little brother passed away December 15th. He was only 35. Deleted. I'm sorry for your loss. Ernest Hemingway would be jealous if he read this. 54-word story. Why did you spend 900 on a cake? My parents always wasted money. My brother and I made a pact to never be like them. So we agreed to waste money one time and that was the most ridiculous thing we found. I got into a stupid fight with my brother, so I found a game he had pledged on Kickstarter, Space Haven, and saw that for $360 I could write a pre-made character BO that would randomly show up. So I pledged it and wrote a character BO with his name and made him a flaming asshole. I have never played this game and don't want to. Has he got the game yet? It's in alpha. Not sure that backup perk has been implemented. I do have to say though, being drunk, angry and having access to a credit card has been how the majority of my poor decision stories start. I've been a fat guy all my life. Like, really fat. Dressing comfortably was always my preference, because being stylish just isn't an option at my size. This was always a source of anxiety at any social event that required dressing up. When I realized I had 4 weddings of close friends all coming up within the year, I decided to bite the bullet and get some decent formal clothes. I spent $800 on a suit jacket, $250 on 2 pairs of dress pants, a little over $300 for 3 shirts and 3 silk ties that were between $70 and $100 each. I stood for all my measurements and had everything tailored to my exact specifications. Did a fitting and had a second round of alterations on the pants, so they actually looked decent, even though I wore them under my gut. People were floored when I showed up to the first wedding. I received so many compliments and actual double takes. Being introduced to new people felt completely different. I felt impressive. Some of those weddings were the best times of my life, and it was due, in no small part, to how those clothes looked and made me feel. Some of those friends have big pictures from their weddings hanging on their walls, and I don't cringe in embarrassment when I see myself in them. Those clothes cost more than I had/have ever spent on clothing in any 10-year period. And they were worth every penny. Being a big guy myself, I've thought about doing this, but I've always been too cheap. Now I want to do it. Thank you for sharing. I like this story so much. I'm glad I hung around reading comments until I got to yours. I hope you have many more days where you feel as comfortable in your own skin as you did during those weddings. Thanks you guys. You're the best. A business class ticket on a 14-hour flight. I ate great food and slept like a boss. Made a huge difference to my trip as I didn't need to waste a day to recover. We needed to reschedule the last flight we took. And the only way to sit together, 2 kids, 2 adults, was upgrade to economy plus. It was about 20/seat, and I told my wife we're never flying regular economy again. Even on a 2 to 3 hour flight, that extra legroom is so nice. I felt very cheated the first time I went to economy plus. Over the fall traveling for work, election stuff, I flew American, a few hour flight, paid an extra $33 for the extra legroom, and literally couldn't tell the difference. It was an extra inch at most. The seat was the same width. I knew that because the aisle was the same width. No snacks because of COVID. Real waste of money. I'll just spend that on a bag of the white Toblerones in the airport and continue to quietly suffer in coach. If you can afford it, it really is worth it. Pretend it costs 2x your normal ticket. So a $800 ticket is $1,600. If you end up needing a day, to nap/refresh at your destination. Then you're effectively paying for an extra day/night of the trip. Sometimes that's cheaper than the hotel/parking/expenses you're paying by being there an extra day. Is this where they bring you the hot towel and it smells like lemons? My parents took a trip to Australia with friends who surprised them with upgrading their tickets to business class. They said it was absolutely worth it, got good sleep, and ate a good meal, and were well rested when they landed in Sydney in the morning. Basically got them an extra day since they didn't have to catch up on sleep the summer after graduating high school. I won a decent amount of money playing online poker. Since I wasn't going off to college and all of my friends were, I decided to buy them all ridiculous going away gifts. A carpet, mailbox, toilet seat, etc. were among the gifts. The most expensive and ridiculous gift I bought on a whim was a massive wheel of cheese, somewhere between 200 to 300. Little did I know at the time that cheese wheel would set off a yearly event called cheese-a-jiving, where our entire, much larger now with spouses and kids, friend group gets together to celebrate and partake in cheesy goodness. This year was our 17th, unfortunately all virtual due to COVID, and I genuinely hope it never ends. 600 for an hour of laps, 3 of 20 minutes each, around the Nürburgring in Germany. It was open in the off season and there wasn't a single other car near me the whole time. 10/10ths one of the most thrilling experiences of my life. Edit. I rented a car at the track, which is why it was so much. You can bring your own car or rent one there, but they don't allow commercial rental cars. Individual laps were I think 20 each at the time. I'm buying this for my so for our honeymoon, when we get married. And I'm so excited to see his reaction. Don't forget to get special ring insurance. It's crippling to pay if you hit any Armco. Remember to that your car insurance will almost undoubtedly exclude one-way circular toll roads, that is the Nürburgring, so be very, very careful. What were you driving? The cheapest car they'd let me rent. It was an Opel, a bit sluggish, but it did open up to 240 kilometers per hour on the home stretch, and that was such a joy. Even a slow car is fun with that kind of driving. Actually, a slow car can be more fun for an amateur driver because you can actually drive closer to its limits. An old adage, it's more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. The Top Gear episode where the experienced ring driver takes out a white van and passes sport bikes on the ring was hilarious. Spending hundreds of euros on broken musical instruments because they were pretty. I have since bought spare parts and started repairing them. I found my destiny. What do you plan to do with them? Some of them I will sell, some I will keep. Currently I own 4 reed organs, 2 electronic organs, an Indian harmonium and a sitar. And these are only the ones that needed repair. Currently I plan to keep one of the reed organs, the sitar and the Indian harmonium, because I love to play those the most, and they're hard to get for a reasonable price point since reed organs are dying out and don't get much love anymore. I took it upon myself to save as many as possible and give them into good hands, where they are actually appreciated. And the repair process is just so much fun. Exactly 1 year ago I got my private pilot license. So much money went into it, and now it costs a lot of money to keep it by flying. I don't regret it at all. Very cool feeling to go flying. Edit. To have an excuse to fly. My friend and I started posting flying stuff on YouTube so that we can laugh at ourselves. Can you not take passengers to cover the costs? Edit. Okay, I have enough answers now. You can stop telling me the same thing with different credentials applied. My first university degree, but it was really my parents' money that I wasted. I don't do anything related to it now. I went back to get the degree that I wanted and everyone told me would be a waste of my potential. Afterwards, I now work in that field and love it. Moving away from home was one of the best things that happened to me because it allowed me to grow a lot as a person. And also my road bike. $4 grand, but I love every second on it. When I was younger I came into a sum of about 15k. I wasn't very careful with the money, and other than putting 5k down on car, I blew the money here and there. But what I put the largest amounts toward were friends in need. I paid one friend's power bill just before it got shut off. I helped another friend keep her water on. I never could keep my hands on money for long. but I don't regret having wasted it helping friends travel. I've never regretted spending money on travel. Those are some of my favorite memories. I can't wait to be able to travel again. Same. I spent money I didn't have taking trips in college and blown what should have been my savings as an adult 13 countries down. Don't regret a single one. My only regrets are the trips I didn't take. A good buddy invited me on a trip to Africa to, among other things, climb Kilimanjaro. I declined B/C, my budget was tight. He wound up passing unexpectedly a year or two later, and I still regret not experiencing that with him. Another regret is the beginning of 2020, when my wife went to Guatemala and El Salvador for work. Originally I was planning to go down and meet her for a long weekend, but I didn't because I wanted to save up for a trip later in spring. Then COVID hit the world. Now I'm wishing I took that trip when I had the chance. I bought my own tuxedo. It's $1,000 to $1,200 minimum by the time you get good shoes, shirt, bow tie, etc. for it. I hardly wear it, but goddamn, do I look good in it compared to a rental. I also spent $20 on a mustard yellow hat that has big cheese written and red stitching on it. Only busted out for the really big occasions. Edit. Picture of big cheese hat. Edit 2. Apparently you can buy these at a Murray's cheese shop in some Kroger markets. There is also a link in a comment below to buy online. Just bought a treadmill. There is a perfectly good street outside I could run on. Or I could pay for a gym membership for years and years. But now I can get a run in during my daughter's nap time. Or when it's cold. Or when I only have 30 minutes free and driving to and from the gym would eat up half of my time. I certainly could have made it work without this expense. But I really love it. $9K on a hot tub and its installation. I use it probably 2x a day, and for those 30 to 40 minutes I'm almost completely pain free, sometimes bordering on euphoria. Edit. For those concerned about my procreation opportunities, I don't want any more children except for the four-legged kind. Hopefully my nearly grown children will be able to leave the nest soon. Also, my children would probably tell you having my DNA is a mixed blessing at best. Edit 2. I should have said those concerned about my fertility. I would almost apologize to those who were offended thinking I was talking about sexual acts. Please know that most of my offensive comments are intentional, and I sort of wish I had said something more disturbing. A quick 7-day trip to Maui in February a couple years ago with one of my teenage daughters, who happened to be free the same week I had off. Work was grinding me down, and I needed a break. My wife and the rest of the family couldn't go. They were working or in school. The tickets were expensive, $850 each for bare bones economy narrow rock hard seats. It was a 12-hour flight that was packed to the brim. I was getting bedsores by the time we arrived. We rented snorkeling gear and a car, and spent every day from dawn to dusk snorkeling, sitting on the beaches, and hiking in the mountains. We did the Hana Road, the 7 sacred pools and the Haleakala Volcano National Park at sunset, and took tons of photos. We ate spam musubi for breakfast, poke and somen noodles for lunch and loco moco for supper. Slept like babies with the windows open wide in the cool nighttime breezes. The best way to blow 5,000 ever. So much what I needed at that point in my life. I spent $3 on this 2 feet tall alien action figure and I hid it behind my husband's monitor. He still hasn't found it yet, even though the alien's little feet are sticking out from underneath it. His favorite movie is Aliens. My middle was with me when I bought it, and she asks weekly if he's found it yet. Best $3 I ever spent. Other than that, I don't waste money other than door dashing food every now and then. I grew up dirt poor, so I save every penny I can. Edit. Because so many people asked here are the feet. He still hasn't noticed, and it has been several weeks. D. I spent $5,000 I barely had for emergency surgery for my dying dog knowing the outcome was likely to be his death regardless. He still died. I would do it again. He was my best friend and I know I did everything humanly possible to help him. We pulled an old dog from the shelter so he wouldn't die there. He had a heart condition that could have been treated if caught earlier in his life. We spent a few thousand at vets and another few thousand at emergency vets to keep him stable and just get him comfortable. He got to die in our yard. In our arms, in the sunshine in springtime. Every time I see a butterfly I think of that old guy. $500 on a home inspection. Revealed a whole bunch of problems that would have cost us thousands to fix. Always get an inspection. Artwork. Can I always afford it? No. But my walls are full of original, 90% local art. They make me happy to look at. I'm sure I made the artist happy too. Board games, they are expensive. But they bring much joy. At a home inspector's recommendation, I had 2 sump pumps installed in our home's basement in case of water penetration. It was expensive, not only to buy the sump pumps, but also to have the pump pits drilled and electric service supplied. Year after year, those pumps have never kicked in. But they're there, ready to go, just in case. This is going to get buried, but paying the adoption fee for the oldest/longest resident cat at shelters, cat rescues. I think I'm up to about 8k in adoption fees. For a bit of background, my job allows me to travel an insane amount, usually about 200 days a year, and one of my hobbies is going to cat cafes. I've been to 56 around the world because I was making stupid amounts of money. On top of getting a per diem, access to catering 3 times a day, and living very frugally, I had a lot of extra cash. So I would visit cat cafes, which are usually partnered by rescue groups, or go to local shelters. I would spend time with the cats and anonymously pay for the adoption fee of the cat who was the oldest or been there the longest. A few times I paid for transportation arrangement for cats from high-kill shelters as well. Also, sometimes when we would stay in hotels of tiny little towns that were clearly low income, I would leave 100 at whatever small restaurant I ate at. I always made sure to slip out before they noticed. Edit. AWW, thanks for the gold and silver. You guys rock. However, if I may request, please save your coins and donate to your local shelter and TNR groups in your communities. They need it so much more than me. If you can't donate, consider fostering or offering support through social media. Poor boost when animals are on the kill list and need help being pulled, or by donating clean bedding that you no longer need. Above all, spay and neuter your pets and animals in your community. Edit 2, as/u/kiskadi65 pointed out, you can also call your local vet and ask if they have a fund you can donate to for owners who can't afford unexpected procedures, and the only other option is to put them to sleep.